Chapter 1. The house no one wanted. The apartment listing had been up for 3 weeks. In a city where rentals disappeared within hours, that alone should have been a warning. But she was desperate. 2 failed interviews. Maxed out credit card. A suitcase that held everything she owned. The kind of desperate that made red flags look like opportunities. The rent was impossibly low. The location was decent. The photos showed hardwood floors and high ceilings, exactly what she couldn't afford anywhere else. She'd called immediately. The landlord's hesitation crackled through the phone line. "You understand you'll be sharing the space? With roommates? That's fine." A pause. "With him?" Something in the way he said it made her stomach tighten. But she couldn't afford to be picky. Now, standing outside the Victorian house with peeling paint and overgrown hedges, she understood why the listing had languished. The building loomed against the gray sky like something from a ghost story. The neighborhood felt too quiet for midday. A woman walking her dog crossed to the other side of the street when she saw the address. The landlord met her at the gate, keys jangling nervously in his hand. His eyes kept darting to the upper windows. "Look," he said, "I need to be clear. He's particular. Keeps to himself. Pays on time. Never causes trouble. But what?" He pressed the keys into her palm like he was eager to be rid of them. "Just follow his rules. Don't ask too many questions. And if you decide it's not for you, no hard feelings." The neighbors on the porch next door had stopped talking, watching her with expressions she couldn't quite read. Pity. Warning. She climbed the front steps, her keys sliding into the lock with a soft click. The door swung open to reveal a dimly lit hallway. Hardwood floors. High ceilings. Everything the photos had promised. And something they hadn't. Movement upstairs. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Someone was already home. Her hand tightened on her suitcase handle as a shadow appeared at the top of the stairs. Chapter 2. The man upstairs. He descended the stairs like he had all the time in the world. Tall, easily over 6 feet. Dark hair, dark eyes that tracked her every movement. He wore simple clothes, black t-shirt, jeans, but moved with the kind of control that made casual look calculated. He stopped 3 steps from the bottom. Close enough to see her clearly. Far enough to maintain distance. Neither of them spoke. She forced herself not to step back, even though every instinct screamed at her to put space between them. There was something about him, not threatening exactly, but powerful. Like standing too close to a live wire. "You're the new tenant," he said finally. Not a question. "Yes, I know who you are." His voice was quiet, measured. "The landlord sent your information." Of course he did. She tried to smile, make this normal, make this feel like any other roommate introduction. "And you are?" He studied her for a long moment, head tilting slightly. Like he was deciding something. Evaluating. "The person you'll be sharing space with." Not a name. Not an introduction. Just a statement of fact. The silence stretched. She became aware of how still he was. No fidgeting, no nervous energy. Just absolute control. "The kitchen is shared," he said. "First floor bathroom is yours. Don't go into the locked rooms. Don't bring guests without notice." "Okay, but..." "Those are the rules." His tone wasn't harsh. Wasn't cruel. But it left no room for negotiation. She squared her shoulders, refusing to be intimidated in her own, well, half her own, home. "I think we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we could start over." "If you're scared," he interrupted, eyes never leaving hers, "you should leave now." The words hung between them. Not a threat. A warning. She should have been offended. Should have argued. Should have demanded basic courtesy. Instead, she felt her pulse quicken as she realized this man, this stranger she'd be living with, wasn't trying to scare her. He was giving her a choice. And that somehow felt more dangerous than any threat could have been. Chapter 3. Why Everyone Stares. The first week was a study in avoidance. He left early, came home late. When their paths crossed in the kitchen or hallway, he acknowledged her with a nod and nothing more. No small talk. No questions. No attempts at friendliness. The house rules became clearer through observation rather than explanation. Keep to your space. Clean up after yourself. Don't linger in shared areas longer than necessary. But it was outside the house where things got strange. The neighbor who'd crossed the street that first day now actively looked away when she left for job interviews. The corner store cashier asked where she was living, then went pale when she answered. That house. The older woman's hand had trembled slightly as she bagged groceries. You're living there with... She'd nodded, waiting for explanation. None came. Just a whispered, "Be careful, honey," and averted eyes. People stared. Everywhere she went, if someone recognized the address, their reaction was the same. Shock, concern, sometimes fear. But inside the house, he was just quiet. She'd catch glimpses of him sometimes. Reading in the living room with perfect posture. Cooking meals with precise movements. Existing in the space like he was designed for solitude. He wasn't cruel. Never raised his voice. Never invaded her space. He just kept everyone, including her, at a carefully maintained distance. The locked rooms bothered her most. 3 doors on the second floor that wouldn't open. He'd said not to touch them, and she hadn't. But curiosity gnawed at her. What was he hiding? One evening, she arrived home to find 2 women talking on the sidewalk. They went silent when they saw her approaching the house. She slowed, pretending to check her phone, and caught a fragment of conversation. Can't believe someone actually moved in there. Does she know about what happened? Must not. Poor thing. She turned. Know what? Both women startled, then hurried away without answering. Inside, she found him in the kitchen, making tea with the same methodical precision he applied to everything. He glanced up as she entered. People talk, he said simply. About what? He poured hot water into his cup, watching steam rise. That's the house where... He paused, then corrected himself. Where I live. Not an answer. Another deflection. She leaned against the counter, studying him. Why is everyone afraid of you? For the first time, something flickered in his expression. Not anger. Something closer to resignation. He set down the teapot and looked directly at her. Because they should be. Chapter 4. Rules with no explanation. The list appeared on the refrigerator the next morning. No visitors without 24-hour notice. No loud noises after 10 p.m. No touching items in the locked rooms. No questions about my schedule. No discussion of house business with neighbors. She stared at the printed rules, coffee mug halfway to her lips. The list was typed, not handwritten. Like he'd prepared it specifically, carefully. He appeared in the kitchen doorway as if summoned by her attention. Additional guidelines, he said, to avoid misunderstandings. These are pretty specific. They're necessary. She turned to face him, that same frustration from before bubbling up. You know what would help avoid misunderstandings? Actually talking to me like a human being instead of issuing commands. His expression didn't change. The rules aren't suggestions. I'm not asking to break them. I'm asking why they exist. No, he corrected quietly. You're asking me to justify my boundaries. I don't need to do that. The calm in his voice made her pause. He wasn't being defensive or aggressive. He was simply absolute. Like these weren't negotiable terms but fundamental laws of his existence. The locked rooms aren't your concern. The neighbors talk too much. You set the rules you agreed to when you signed the lease. He moved to the coffee maker with that same controlled grace. If you can't follow them, the landlord will refund your deposit. She should have been angry. Should have stood her ground, demanded basic respect and transparency. Instead, she found herself watching the way he moved, economical, deliberate. Never wasted motion. Never lost control. Power wasn't loud with him. Wasn't aggressive or boisterous. It was absolute. Unquestionable. Built into every gesture and word. Why is everyone afraid of you? She asked again, quieter this time. He poured his coffee, added nothing to it, took a sip. When he looked at her over the rim of the mug, his eyes were unreadable. Because they should be. The same answer as before. But this time, she heard what he wasn't saying. Not they're wrong to fear me. Not I haven't done anything to deserve it. Just acknowledgement. Acceptance. Maybe even warning. He set down his mug and walked past her, close enough that she caught his scent. Clean soap, cedar, something darker underneath. At the doorway, he paused without turning around. The rules exist for a reason. Follow them, and we won't have problems. Then he was gone, leaving her alone in the kitchen with a list of restrictions and absolutely no answers. Chapter 5. The night she hears him. The sound woke her at 2 a.m. At first, she thought she'd imagined it. The house was old, full of creaks and settling noises. But then it came again. Movement upstairs, directly above her room. Not footsteps. Something else. She lay still, listening. A crash. Muffled. Like something hitting a wall but contained, controlled. Then silence. She should have stayed in bed. Should have followed the unspoken rule of minding her own business. Instead, she found herself padding barefoot to her door, opening it carefully. The hallway was dark. Upstairs, a sliver of light showed under one of the locked doors. Another sound. Not a crash this time, but something worse, a low, pained breath. The kind someone makes when they're trying not to make any sound at all. She climbed the stairs without thinking, each step taking her closer to that closed door. The sounds continued. Irregular. Suppressed. Not violence. Not chaos. Pain. The kind that someone refused to show, refused to acknowledge, refused to let break them. She raised her hand to knock, then froze. What would she say? What could she possibly offer someone who'd made it clear he wanted no concern, no questions, no proximity? Her hand hovered an inch from the wood. The sounds stopped abruptly. She held her breath. Footsteps approached the door from inside. Slow. Deliberate. She stepped back quickly, retreating down the stairs as quietly as possible, heart hammering. Back in her room, she lay awake for hours, listening to the silence above her. Morning came too early. She emerged from her room to find him in the kitchen, dressed for the day, looking perfectly composed. Except for his right hand. Bruised knuckles. Split skin across 2 fingers. Fresh enough that she could see the edges hadn't fully scabbed over. He was making coffee one-handed, his injured hand held carefully at his side. Their eyes met. She opened her mouth, to ask if he was okay, if he needed help, what had happened. His expression stopped her cold. Not angry. Not warning. Empty. Like he'd pulled every emotion behind a wall so thick nothing could penetrate it. He poured his coffee, picked up his mug with his good hand, and walked past her without a word. She stood alone in the kitchen, staring at the spot where he'd been, and realized something that made her chest tight. Fear might not be the whole story, but something was very, very wrong. Chapter 6. Kindness he didn't plan. She started leaving coffee for him. Not obviously. Not with fanfare or expectation. Just an extra cup, black, sitting on the counter when he came down in the mornings. His injured hand was healing slowly, and she'd noticed him struggling with the coffee maker. The first morning, he stared at it for a long moment before taking it without comment. The second morning, he glanced at her. She pretended not to notice, focused on her own breakfast. By the fourth morning, it had become routine. She also started cooking extra. Nothing elaborate. Pasta, stir-fry, simple meals. She'd leave a covered plate in the refrigerator with a post-it note, leftovers if you want them. He never thanked her. Never acknowledged the gesture directly. But the plates came back clean. One evening, she came home exhausted from another failed interview to find her favorite tea, the expensive kind she'd mentioned once in passing, sitting on the kitchen counter. No note. No explanation. She looked up to find him in the doorway, watching her with that same unreadable expression. You didn't have to. You were out of yours, he said simply. I happened to be at the store. It was the longest sentence he'd offered that wasn't a rule or a warning. Something in her chest loosened. Thank you. He nodded once, started to leave, then paused. The coffee, he said quietly. In the mornings. You don't need to do that. I know. But you do it anyway. It wasn't a question, but she answered. Yes. He was quiet for a long moment, that controlled stillness she'd come to recognize. But something was different. The wall wasn't quite as high. Why? The question caught her off guard. She'd expected him to shut down the conversation, not extend it. Because you're hurt, she said honestly. And it's just coffee. It's not just coffee. His eyes held hers, intense and searching. Everyone else in this city looks at me and sees a reason to cross the street. You look at me and make coffee. Maybe everyone else doesn't know you. They know enough. Do they? She set down the tea, turning to face him fully. Because all I know is you follow your rules, keep to yourself, and apparently buy tea for people who can't afford it. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe, or something more complicated. He took a step closer. Not threatening, just less distant. You're not like the others, he said quietly. It sounded like a realization, like he hadn't meant to say it out loud. The space between them felt charged, heavy with things neither of them knew how to name. Then he stepped back, that wall slamming into place again. But not before she saw it, the crack in his armor, the glimpse of something underneath all that control. He left without another word, but the tea remained on the counter. A gift, an acknowledgement, a beginning. Chapter 7. The fear is real. The coffee shop was 3 blocks from the house. She'd gone for a late afternoon caffeine fix, her laptop open, attempting to salvage her resume for the 100th time. The door chimed. She glanced up out of habit, and watched every conversation in the room die. He stood in the doorway, scanning the space with methodical precision. When his eyes found her, something shifted in his expression. Recognition, maybe relief. He approached her table while the entire cafe pretended not to watch. "We need to go," he said quietly. "I just got here." "Now." The command in his voice made her close her laptop without thinking. She'd learned that tone by now. It wasn't anger. It was certainty. She gathered her things and followed him out. On the sidewalk, she finally found her voice. "What was that about? You were being watched. By who?" He didn't answer, just guided her down the street with a hand that never quite touched her back but somehow directed her anyway. His eyes constantly scanned their surroundings. Doorways, cars, people. "Please talk to me," she said. "You're scaring me." "Good. You should be scared." He turned down a side street she didn't recognize. "But not of me." They walked in tense silence until they reached the house. Only when they were inside with the door locked did he finally stop moving. "There are people," he said carefully, "who don't like me, who would use anyone connected to me to send a message." "Connected to you? We're just roommates. You live in my house. You're seen entering and leaving with me. That's enough." The pieces started clicking together. The neighbors' warnings. The way people stared. The locked rooms and strict rules. "What did you do?" she whispered. He looked at her for a long moment, and she saw him deciding, calculating how much truth to give. "I protected people," he said finally. "People who couldn't protect themselves. From men who thought power meant they could do anything to anyone." "That sounds like vigilante justice." His mouth twisted. "It was. Still is, occasionally. I'm very good at making bad men afraid." Her heart hammered. "The police. Look the other way. Because the men I stop are usually the ones they can't touch. Too rich. Too connected. Too careful. She should run. Should pack her bags and leave tonight. Deposit be damned." Instead, she heard herself ask, "And the people you protect?" "Are safer than they were before." "So you're feared?" "Yes. Because I should be. Because fear keeps people honest." He moved closer, and she saw the warning in his eyes. "If you stay, you don't get to pretend you didn't know. You don't get to claim ignorance when people ask why you're living with a monster." Monster. The word hung between them. She looked at this man who made her coffee, who bought her tea, who followed rigid rules and kept everyone at a distance. Who protected people. "I'm staying," she said. Surprise flickered across his face. "You don't understand what you're choosing. I understand that you just walked 3 blocks out of your way to make sure I was safe. That you've never once made me feel threatened in this house. That everyone is afraid of what you might do, but no one mentions what you've actually done to them. That doesn't make me safe." "Maybe not." She held his gaze. "But it doesn't make you a monster either." He stared at her like she was speaking a language he didn't understand. Like kindness was foreign enough to be suspicious. "If you stay," he said quietly, "people will assume things. Will target you. Will use you. Then I guess you'll have to teach me to be more careful." Something shifted in his expression, a crack in the armor widening into something that looked almost like hope. But he shut it down quickly, that control slamming back into place. "Don't say I didn't warn you." She smiled despite the fear thrumming through her veins. "I won't." Chapter 8. Proximity. Living with someone you were afraid of was one thing. Living with someone you understood was dangerous, but chose to trust anyway, was something else entirely. The dynamic shifted. He started explaining things. Small things. Why certain windows stayed locked. Why he varied his schedule. Why the landlord never came by unannounced. She started asking questions. He started answering. They had coffee together in the mornings. Not talking much, but sharing space. Comfortable silence instead of tense avoidance. She noticed more about him. The way he read 3 newspapers every morning, making notes in a leather journal. How he cooked with the same precise control he applied to everything else. The fact that he never relaxed, even sitting down, he looked ready to move at a moment's notice. And he noticed her. She could feel his attention even when he wasn't looking directly at her. Protective. Constant. When her interview ran late and she texted she'd be home after dark, he was waiting on the porch when she arrived. "You didn't have to." "Yes, I did." He walked her inside, eyes scanning the street one last time before locking the door. When her laptop died and she mentioned needing to save up for a new one, a refurbished model appeared on the kitchen table 2 days later. He'd shrugged off her protests. "I upgraded. This one's just sitting around." It wasn't. She could tell it was new. But she'd learned not to push. They developed routines. Shared meals a few times a week. He'd cook, she'd clean. Or vice versa. Easy. Domestic. Too domestic. She started noticing other things. The way her pulse quickened when he entered a room. How she'd find excuses to be in shared spaces when he was home. The warmth that flooded through her when his rare smiles appeared. And she caught him watching her. More than roommates watched each other. His eyes would track her movements, linger on her face, darken with something he quickly shut down. The night everything shifted started ordinarily enough. She was reaching for a mug in the high cabinet, stretching on her toes. Her fingers just brushed the handle. His hand closed over hers, body suddenly behind her, reaching past to grab the mug easily. The contact froze them both. His chest pressed against her back. His hand covered hers completely. His breath stirred her hair. Neither of them moved. She could feel his heartbeat, faster than it should be for someone so controlled. "I've got it," he said, voice rougher than usual. But he didn't step back. She turned slowly in the cage of his arms, the mug forgotten. His face was inches from hers. Close enough to see his pupils dilate. Close enough to feel the tension radiating off him in waves. "Thank you," she whispered. His eyes dropped to her mouth. Lingered. His jaw clenched with visible effort. Then, the sound of breaking glass outside. A car backfiring. Something. He pulled away instantly, that professional distance slamming back into place. But his hands shook. She'd seen him face down implied threats without flinching, maintain perfect control under pressure. And proximity to her made his hands shake. The realization stole her breath. Chapter 9. The Side No One Sees. She couldn't sleep. The almost moment in the kitchen had replayed in her mind for hours. The heat of him. The control barely held. The way he'd looked at her like she was both salvation and destruction. At 3 a.m., she gave up and padded to the kitchen for water. Light spilled from the living room. She found him there, sitting in the dark except for a single lamp, journal open on his lap. He looked up when she entered. Can't sleep. Too much coffee. A lie. They both knew it. He closed the journal, set it aside. Sit, if you want. She did, curling into the opposite end of the couch. The space between them felt electric. What were you writing? Notes. Observations. He paused. Things I can't afford to forget. Like what? He considered the question, then reached for the journal, flipped to a specific page and handed it to her. She read his precise handwriting, names, dates, patterns of behavior, men who think wealth makes them untouchable, evidence. He was building cases. This one, he said, pointing to a name, beats his wife. His security team makes sure no one sees the bruises. Police have been called 6 times. No arrests. And you? Made sure he understood what fear feels like. His voice was flat, factual. He doesn't touch her anymore. She should have been horrified. Should have been thinking about legality and ethics and consequences. Instead she asked, is she safe? Yes. I made sure of that first. How many people have you helped? He took the journal back, closed it. Enough that I can't stop. Because if I do, who will? The exhaustion in his voice caught her off guard. This wasn't bravado or power tripping. This was burden. You can't save everyone, she said gently. No. But I can save some. He looked at her then, and she saw past the control to the person underneath. That has to be enough. The vulnerability in the statement made her chest ache. This man who everyone feared, who kept the world at arm's length, was just someone trying to make a difference the only way he knew how. Do you ever rest? She asked. Not often. That's not sustainable. Neither is doing nothing. He ran a hand through his hair, a rare gesture of frustration. You asked why everyone's afraid of me. That's why. Because I will not look away. Will not pretend I don't see. Will not let men hurt people just because they can. That doesn't make you a monster. Doesn't make me a hero either. His eyes held hers. I've done things, hurt people, the right people, but still. There's blood on these hands. She didn't look away. Didn't flinch. You're also the person who makes sure I get home safely. Who buys tea when I run out. Who follows rules because structure keeps you grounded. Those are small things. They're the things that matter. She shifted closer without thinking. Everyone sees the fear. I see the person. Something broke in his expression. That wall cracked wide open, and she saw him, really saw him. Not the monster people whispered about. Not the vigilante protecting strangers. Just a man who was desperately, achingly lonely. You're the first person, he said quietly, who hasn't looked at me like a monster. The confession hung between them, raw and honest. She reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. Her hand covered his. He didn't move. Just stared at their joined hands like he'd forgotten what touch felt like. You're not a monster, she said firmly. You're just someone who cares too much in a world that doesn't care enough. His hand turned, fingers threading through hers. The contact sent electricity up her arm. They sat like that in the quiet darkness, hands intertwined, walls finally down. And neither of them pulled away. Chapter 10. The touch that changes things. Morning came with awkwardness neither acknowledged. He was already in the kitchen when she emerged, making coffee with the careful precision that meant he was thinking too hard. Morning, she offered. Morning. He poured her cup without asking, slid it across the counter. Their fingers brushed during the handoff. Both pulled back like they'd been burned. The rest of the day proceeded in careful avoidance. He left for wherever he went during the day. She had another interview. They moved around each other like dancers who'd forgotten the steps. That evening, she was attempting to fix the dripping kitchen faucet when the wrench slipped. Damn. Let me. He appeared beside her, taking the wrench gently from her hand. She stepped back, giving him room to work. Watched his hands move with practiced confidence. Those same hands that had held hers last night. that she'd caught herself thinking about all day. There. He tightened the final connection, tested it. Should be fine now. Thank you. She meant for him to move, to go back to his careful distance. Instead, he straightened and they were suddenly very close in the small kitchen. Close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. Close enough to see them darken with awareness. We should, he started. Yes, she agreed, though neither of them moved. His hand came up slowly, giving her time to step away. His fingers brushed a strand of hair back from her face. The gentle touch made her breath catch. This is a bad idea, he said, but his thumb traced her cheekbone. Terrible, she agreed, leaning into his touch. His other hand settled on her waist, not pulling her closer, just touching, like he needed the contact as much as she did. I don't do this, he said quietly. Don't let people close. I know. There are reasons for that. Good reasons. I know that too. His forehead dropped to hers. You should be afraid of me. I'm not. You should be. But his hands tightened slightly on her waist, contradicting his words. The air between them felt charged, heavy with possibility and restraint. She could feel his heartbeat through the minimal space between them, racing despite his controlled exterior. This can't happen, he whispered against her lips. But he didn't pull away, didn't move. Stood there with his forehead pressed to hers, hands on her waist, looking like he was fighting the hardest battle of his life. Why not? She breathed. Because, his jaw clenched. Because everyone I get close to becomes a target. Because I don't know how to be gentle. Because if I start, I won't want to stop. Then don't stop. The invitation hung between them. His control wavered. She saw the exact moment it cracked, his eyes going dark, his breath catching, his hands pulling her infinitesimally closer. Then he stepped back abruptly, putting 3 feet between them like he needed the distance to think clearly. His hands were shaking again. You don't know what you're asking for, he said, voice rough. So tell me. I'm not. He stopped, jaw working. I can't be what you need. Can't be soft or easy or uncomplicated. I'm not asking for easy. I'm asking for honest. He stared at her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Like everything he knew about human behavior had become useless. This is a mistake, he said finally. Probably. You'll regret it. Maybe. I won't be able to. He stopped, ran a hand through his hair. If we do this, I won't be halfway. Won't be casual. That's not who I am. I don't want halfway. The admission made him close his eyes briefly. When he opened them, the want was visible, raw. Go to your room, he said quietly. Please. Before I. He didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. She went, heart pounding, skin still tingling where he'd touched her. But at the doorway, she looked back. He stood exactly where she'd left him, hands clenched at his sides, watching her with an intensity that made her knees weak. This isn't over, she said. No. His voice was rough. It's not. Chapter 11. Jealousy he can't hide. The job interview went well. Well enough that the hiring manager walked her out personally, making pleasant conversation that extended to the parking lot. We'll be in touch by Friday, he said, smiling. But between you and me, I think you're exactly what we're looking for. Thank you so much. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime? Discuss the role in a more casual setting. She hesitated. It seemed professional enough, but something in his tone suggested otherwise. I appreciate that, but she's busy. The voice came from behind her. She turned to find him leaning against his car, arms crossed, expression unreadable. The hiring manager's smile faltered. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Now you do. His tone was pleasant. His eyes were ice. The manager mumbled something about being in touch and retreated quickly. She walked to the car, emotions warring between gratitude and irritation. What are you doing here? You texted you had an interview in this area. Thought I'd make sure you got home safely. He opened the passenger door. Get in. I have my own car, which we'll pick up later. Get in. She should have argued. Should have insisted on her independence. Instead, she got in. The drive started in tense silence. She watched him from the corner of her eye, jaw tight, hands gripping the wheel harder than necessary. "He was being professional," she said finally. "He was asking you out. You don't know that. I know exactly that." His voice was controlled, but she heard the edge underneath. "I know what men look like when they want something. And he wanted you. So what if he did?" His hands tightened on the wheel. "So nothing. You're free to do whatever you want." "But you're angry." "I'm not." He stopped, jaw clenching. "I'm not angry." "Then what are you?" He pulled over abruptly, killed the engine, turned to face her with an intensity that stole her breath. "I'm trying," he said carefully, "very hard to respect your autonomy, to not be possessive or controlling, to remember that you're not mine to." "To what?" "To claim." The word came out rough. "To protect from every man who looks at you the way he did." Her heart hammered. "And how did he look at me?" "Like you were available. Like he had a chance. Like—" He stopped himself, jaw working. "Like what?" "Like you don't already belong in someone else's orbit." The possessiveness in his voice sent heat flooding through her. "Whose orbit?" He stared at her, and she saw him fighting it, the need to be honest warring with the need to maintain distance. "You know whose," he said quietly. "Say it." "No." "Why not?" "Because if I say it, it becomes real. And if it becomes real—" He shook his head. "You don't understand what you're asking for." She reached across the console, hand settling on his arm. "Then help me understand." He looked at where she touched him, then back at her face. The hunger in his eyes made her breath catch. "You don't belong in anyone else's orbit," he said, voice low and dangerous. "Not his. Not anyone's. Do you understand? I understand you're jealous." "I'm—" He stopped, then laughed bitterly. "Yes. I'm jealous. I'm irrationally, inappropriately jealous of a man who had a 5-minute conversation with you." "Why?" "Because—" the words seemed pulled from somewhere deep. "Because I think about you constantly. Because seeing you is the best part of my day. Because the thought of anyone else touching you makes me want to." He cut himself off, breathing hard. She waited. "This is why I keep my distance," he said finally. "Because I'm not good at moderation. At casual. I'm all or nothing, and all is what I want." His eyes snapped to hers. "You don't know what you're saying." "I know exactly what I'm saying." She moved closer, emboldened by his admission. "I want all. I want whatever you've been holding back. If I let go, then let go." For a moment, she thought he might. Thought he'd close the distance and kiss her the way his eyes promised he wanted to. Instead, he pulled back, restarted the car. "Not here," he said. "Not like this." "Then where?" "When?" He drove in silence for several blocks before answering. "When you're sure. When you've thought about what it means to be mine. Because once I claim you—" His voice roughened. "I won't let go easily." The promise in his words made her shiver. "I'm already sure." "Then prove it." He glanced at her. "Go on that coffee date. Let him try. And when you come home and realize no one else will ever be enough." "I already know that." His hands tightened on the wheel again. "Then you know why I can't be casual about this. Why the thought of him anywhere near you makes me jealous," she finished. "Homicidal," he corrected quietly. She should have been alarmed. Should have recognized the red flag. Instead, warmth flooded through her at his possessiveness. "I'm not going on the date," she said. "Your choice." "Because I don't want him. I want—" "Don't." His voice was strained. "Don't finish that sentence unless you mean it. Unless you're ready for me to." "To what?" He pulled into their driveway, turned to face her with eyes gone dark. "To stop pretending I don't want to keep you all to myself." Chapter 12. Her breaking point. 3 days of careful distance was 3 days too many. They circled each other like wary animals, close enough to be aware, far enough to maintain the illusion of control. But she was done with illusions. She found him in the living room, reading with that perfect posture, that absolute control. "We need to talk." He looked up, closed his book. "About this. Whatever we're doing. We're living together. As roommates." Bullshit. The word surprised them both. Roommates don't look at each other the way we do. Don't get jealous. Don't spend hours thinking about. "Careful," he warned. "No." She moved closer. "I'm done being careful. Done pretending. Done following unspoken rules that only exist because you're afraid." His eyes narrowed. "I'm not afraid." "Yes, you are. Terrified. Of what happens if you let someone in. If you let me in." He stood, and even knowing him as well as she did now, the controlled power in the movement made her pulse race. "You have no idea what you're talking about." "Don't I?" She held her ground. "You've built this perfect system of isolation. Rules and distance and locked rooms. Everything designed to keep people out. But it's not protection, it's prison. It keeps people safe. It keeps you alone." She moved closer, refusing to back down. "And I'm done participating in it. Either we do this, really do this, or I leave." The ultimatum hung between them. "You don't mean that." "I do." Her voice shook but stayed firm. "Because I can't live here, feeling what I feel, watching you feel it too, and pretending neither of us does. It's killing me." Something flickered in his expression. "What do you feel?" "You know what I feel. Say it anyway." "No." She crossed her arms. "You first. Tell me why you can't let me go. Why the thought of me with anyone else makes you, what did you say? Homicidal." "That's not." "Say it. Be honest. For once, just be honest about what you want." He stared at her, jaw tight, walls visibly crumbling. "I can't," he said finally. "Why not?" "Because everyone I get close to pays for it." The words came out harsh, pained. "Everyone I care about becomes a target. Gets hurt. Leaves." There it was. The truth beneath the control. Her anger softened. "I'm not them. You don't know that. You don't know what it's like to." He stopped, shook his head. "I had someone once. Someone who mattered. And the people I'd gone after found out. Used her to get to me." Her breath caught. "What happened?" "I got her out. Got her safe. But she looked at me differently after that. Saw what I was capable of when pushed. And she left." Yes. The single word carried years of pain. "So I don't let people close anymore. Don't give anyone the ammunition to hurt me like that again." "But you let me close." "I didn't mean to." He laughed bitterly. "You just kept being you. Making coffee. Asking questions. Looking at me like I was human instead of monster. You are human. I'm dangerous. So am I." She stepped closer. "Dangerous enough to see past your walls. Dangerous enough to make you feel things you don't want to feel. Dangerous enough to make you admit the truth. Which is that you're falling for me. That you want me. That you're terrified it'll end the same way it did before." His control shattered. "Yes. All of it, yes. I want you so badly I can't think straight. Can't focus. Can't maintain the distance that's kept me safe for years." "Then stop trying." "I can't." His hands fisted at his sides. "If something happens to you because of me, then we handle it. Together." She reached for him. "Stop protecting me from yourself. I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Knowing exactly what that means." "You don't know." "I know enough." She closed the distance. "I know you're dangerous and guarded and obsessive. I know people fear you. I know you've done things that probably haunt you. And I'm choosing you anyway." He stared at her like she was speaking impossible truths. "Why?" The question came out broken. "Because underneath all that control is someone worth knowing. Someone who protects people who can't protect themselves. Someone who follows rules because chaos scares him. Someone who makes me feel safe in ways that have nothing to do with physical protection. His hand came up slowly, cupping her face with devastating gentleness. If we do this, he said quietly, there's no going back. I won't do halfway. Won't pretend it's casual. I'll be all in. I know. You've said that. She leaned into his touch. Stop warning me and just. He kissed her. Not gentle. Not tentative. Desperate. Claiming. Years of control finally shattering. His hands buried in her hair, angling her head exactly where he wanted it. His mouth moved over hers like he was drowning and she was air. She kissed back with equal intensity, hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. When he finally pulled back, they were both breathing hard. I'm falling for you, he said against her lips. Have been for weeks. And it terrifies me. Me too. Everyone I let close pays for it. Then I guess we'll have to be careful. She smiled. Together. His forehead dropped to hers. This is a terrible idea. The worst. You'll regret it. Never. He pulled her close, holding her like she might disappear. And for the first time since she'd moved in, neither of them pulled away. Chapter 13. The First Kiss. The kiss in the living room had broken something open. Now, standing in the kitchen the next morning, the air between them felt different. Charged. Inevitable. He made coffee with those precise movements, but kept glancing at her. She caught him watching and didn't look away. About last night, he started. Don't. She moved closer. Don't overthink it. Don't build the walls back up. I'm not. He stopped, jaw working. I'm trying to do this right. There is no right. There's just us. His eyes darkened. If we do this, we already are doing this. She closed the distance. The question is whether you're going to keep fighting it. I should. But you won't. No. The admission came out rough. I won't. This time, she kissed him. Slower than last night. Deliberately. Giving him time to stop her, to pull back, to retreat behind his walls. He didn't. His hands settled on her waist, pulling her flush against him. The kiss deepened, became something more than just want, became need. She'd kissed people before, but never like this. Never feeling like she might combust from the intensity. He kissed like he did everything else, with absolute focus, total control, devastating precision. His mouth moved over hers, coaxing responses she didn't know she could give. His hands gripped her waist hard enough to leave marks. His body pressed against hers with barely restrained want. When they finally broke apart, his breathing was ragged. We should stop, he said. Should we? Before he swallowed hard. Before I lose control completely. Maybe I want you to lose control. His eyes went dark, dangerous. You don't know what you're asking for. Show me. For a moment, she thought he might. Thought he'd give in to whatever he'd been holding back. Instead, he pulled away, hands shaking visibly. Not like this, he said, voice strained. Not when I'm... What? Barely holding on. He put distance between them, ran a hand through his hair. You make me want to throw away every rule. Every precaution. Everything that's kept me safe. Would that be so bad? Yes. The word came out emphatic. Because if I let go, really let go, I won't stop. Won't be gentle. Won't be anything but honest, she finished. He looked at her, and she saw the war in his eyes. Want versus control. Need versus safety. If I keep going, he said quietly, I won't stop. The promise in his voice sent shivers down her spine. Then don't stop. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. She moved toward him again. You're used to control. To distance. To keeping everyone at arm's length. And I'm threatening all of that. You're destroying all of that. Good. His control wavered. She saw it in the way his hands flexed, the way his breathing quickened, the way he looked at her like she was both salvation and ruin. Go to your room, he said finally, voice rough. No. Please. The word sounded like it cost him. Before I do something we both want. She stepped closer. Say it. Admit you want this as much as I do. He stopped, jaw clenching. Yes. I want this. Want you. So badly I can't think about anything else. But... She kissed him again, cutting off whatever rationalization he was building. This time, his control shattered completely. He kissed her back with desperate intensity, hands everywhere, pulling her against him like he needed the contact to breathe. Then, abruptly, he pulled away. His hands shook so hard he had to clasp them together. His chest heaved. His eyes were wild with want and fear and need. If I keep going, he whispered, I won't want to stop. Won't be able to stop. Do you understand? She nodded, breathless. Then we need, he swallowed hard. We need to slow down. Before you what? Claim you so completely you'll never want to leave. The possessiveness in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it made her want him more. But she saw the genuine fear in his eyes. Saw him fighting himself, fighting the want, fighting everything he felt. Okay, she said softly. We'll slow down. Relief and disappointment warred on his face. But this isn't over, she added. No. His eyes held hers, dark and hungry. It's just beginning. Chapter 14. When the past comes knocking. The brick came through the window at 2 a.m. She woke to the sound of shattering glass, his voice sharp in the hallway. Stay in your room. Lock the door. She did neither, grabbing her phone and rushing out to find him already at the broken window, glass scattered across the living room floor. A brick lay in the center of the debris, paper wrapped around it, secured with rubber bands. He picked it up carefully, unfolded the note. His expression went cold. What does it say? She asked. Go back to bed. Tell me what it says. His jaw tightened. He handed her the note without a word. She's pretty. Would be a shame if something happened to her. Back off, or we'll make sure she pays for your interference. Ice flooded her veins. Who? Doesn't matter. He was already moving, phone to his ear, speaking in low, clipped tones to someone on the other end. Yeah. Tonight. The house. I know. No, she's fine. For now. He ended the call, turned to her with an expression she'd never seen before. Not controlled. Not guarded. Terrified. Pack a bag, he said. You're leaving. What? No. This isn't a discussion. His voice was harder than she'd ever heard it. I'm getting you somewhere safe. Tonight. I'm not running. You're not running. You're surviving. He moved toward her, hands gripping her shoulders. This is what I was afraid of. This is why I keep people away. They found out about you, and now you're a target. So we handle it. There's no we in this. His eyes bored into hers. I handle it. You disappear until I do. I'm not leaving you to face this alone. Yes, you are. His grip tightened. Because if something happens to you because of me, because of my choices, I won't. His voice broke. I can't. She saw it then, the real fear. Not for himself. For her. How long? She asked. Until it's safe. That could be weeks. Months. I don't care. He released her shoulders. Pack. Someone's coming to get you in 20 minutes. And what about you? I do what I've always done. Make bad men afraid. The coldness in his voice sent chills down her spine. This was the man people feared. The one who made threats disappear. I won't go, she said. You don't have a choice. Yes, I do. She held her ground. I'm an adult. I'm choosing to stay. You're choosing to die. His control cracked. Do you understand that? They'll use you to get to me. Will hurt you to send a message. Will. Then teach me to protect myself. Give me the tools, the knowledge, whatever I need. But I'm not leaving. You're being stupid. I'm being in love with you. The words exploded out before she could stop them. Silence crashed between them. His expression shattered. Don't what? Tell the truth. I love you. And I'm not running just because things got dangerous. That's not how this works. Love isn't enough. It's all we have. She moved closer. You can't protect me by pushing me away. That's not protection. It's fear. Of course I'm afraid. His voice roughened. You're the first person in years who's made me want something beyond survival. And they're threatening to take you away. So we fight. Together. You don't understand what you're asking. I understand perfectly. She took his hands, feeling them shake. I understand that you're terrified. That you've lost people before. That this feels like history repeating. But I'm not her. I'm not running. You should. But I won't. She held his gaze. So either we face this together, or you physically carry me out of here. And even then, I'll just come back. He stared at her, something breaking in his eyes. They'll come after you, he said quietly. Let them try. You could die. So could you. Are you planning to run? That's different. It's not. She squeezed his hands. You don't get to make this decision for me. I know the risks. I'm choosing to stay anyway. For a long moment, he said nothing. Just looked at her like she was simultaneously his salvation and his destruction. If you stay, he finally said, things change. I can't be gentle about your safety. Can't give you space or independence. I'll need to know where you are, who you're with, every second of every day. Okay. I'll be controlling, possessive, paranoid. I can handle that. No, you can't. His hands tightened on hers. You have no idea what you're choosing. Then show me. She held his gaze. Show me what it means to be yours. To be under your protection. All of it. Something in his expression shifted. The fear didn't disappear, but it transformed into determination. If you stay, he said quietly, you follow my rules. Every single one. No arguments. No exceptions. Okay. You don't leave the house without me. You don't talk to strangers. You tell me everything. Who contacts you, who looks at you wrong, any threat no matter how small. Done. And if I tell you to run, to hide, to do something that seems extreme, I'll do it. He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. She felt him shaking. I can't lose you, he whispered. Not now. Not when I just. You won't. She wrapped her arms around him. We'll get through this. Promise me something. Anything. If it comes down to your life or my vengeance, he pulled back to look at her. Promise me you'll run. That you'll save yourself even if it means leaving me. I can't promise that. Then I'm putting you on that transport in 15 minutes. She saw the resolve in his eyes. Knew he'd do it. Fine, she said. I promise. A lie. They both knew it. But he accepted it anyway, pulling her close again. We have work to do, he said finally. Starting now. What kind of work? He pulled back, and she saw the transformation. Not the man she'd fallen for, but the one people feared. The kind that reminds people why they should be afraid of me. Chapter 15. She refuses to run. The safe house was 40 miles outside the city. Isolated. Secure. Guarded by people he trusted. She lasted 3 days before demanding to come home. It's not safe, he said over the phone, his voice tight. I don't care. You promised. I promised to run if it came to my life or your vengeance. We're not there yet. She gripped the phone harder. I'm coming back. Either send someone to get me or I'm taking a cab. Silence. Then, you're impossible. You love me anyway. Another pause. Yes, I do. The admission, given so quietly, made her chest ache. Say it again, she whispered. I love you. His voice roughened. Which is why you need to stay put until. No. She cut him off. We do this together or not at all. I meant what I said. You're going to get hurt. Then you'll protect me. That's what you do, isn't it? Protect people. Not people he stopped. Not you. You're different. Why? Because if something happens to you, I won't survive it. The raw honesty in his voice stole her breath. Everyone else I could handle. But you. Then let me come home. Teach me. Prepare me. Whatever you need to do to feel like I'm safe enough. There's no such thing as safe enough when it comes to you. Then we'll just have to be careful. She softened her voice. Please. I can't sit here wondering if you're okay. Can't be away from you when things are dangerous. When things matter most, she corrected. She heard him breathe out slowly, making a decision. Someone will pick you up in an hour, he said finally. But when you get back, we do things my way. Completely. No arguments. Deal? I mean it. My rules. My way. You don't fight me on security. I won't. You're lying. She smiled despite everything. Maybe a little. He made a sound between a laugh and a groan. You're going to be the death of me. Or the life of you. That too. His voice dropped. I love you. Even though you're reckless and stubborn and perfect for you, terrifying for me. But she heard the affection underneath. Come home. I'll be waiting. The house looked the same from the outside. But when she walked in, she saw the changes immediately. New locks, security cameras, reinforced windows, and him, standing in the hallway like he'd been waiting there the entire time she'd been gone. They stared at each other for a heartbeat. Then she dropped her bag and ran to him. He caught her, lifted her off her feet, buried his face in her neck. You came back, he said against her skin. I told you I would. People say a lot of things. His arms tightened. They don't always mean them. I meant it. She pulled back to look at him. Every word. He set her down carefully, hands framing her face. The threat is real, he said. Active. I've handled part of it, but they're escalating. And as long as you're with me, you're in danger. Then I guess we handle it together. Something shifted in his expression. The fear was still there, but underneath it, pride, warmth, love. You're sure? He asked. Completely sure. Because once we do this, once you're really mine, I won't let you go. Even when it's hard. Even when you want to run. I'm sure. She rose on her toes, kissed him softly. I chose you. All of you. Including the dangerous parts. His control finally broke. He kissed her like he'd been starving for it. Like the 3 days apart had been torture. His hands pulled her closer, his mouth demanding everything she'd give. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. You're mine, he said, low and shaken. Say it. I'm yours. And I'm yours. His hands tightened. Which means I protect what's mine. No matter what it takes. She saw the promise in his eyes. The vow. This man who everyone feared would use all that power, all that danger, all that control. To keep her safe. Show me, she whispered. Show you what? What it means. To be yours. To be protected by you. All of it. His eyes darkened with want and possession and love all tangled together. Everything changes now, he warned. Good. She smiled. I was getting bored with ordinary anyway. He kissed her again, softer this time but no less intense. And she knew, whatever came next, whatever dangers lurked outside these walls, they'd face it together. Chapter 16. Obsession, unfiltered. Living under his protection was different than she'd imagined. Not oppressive. Not cage-like. Just absolute. He knew where she was every moment. Not through tracking or surveillance, but because they were rarely apart. When she needed to go somewhere, he drove. When she worked, he worked nearby. When she slept, he was there. This doesn't bother you? She asked one morning, watching him make coffee while simultaneously monitoring 3 security feeds on his laptop. What? Being responsible for someone else. Having to factor me into every decision. He looked up, eyes softening slightly. You're not a burden. You're... He paused, searching for words. You're the reason I'm careful. The reason I think twice. The reason I want to survive every encounter. The honesty in his voice made her chest tight. What about before me? Before you, I was reckless. Took risks that didn't matter because I had nothing to lose. He closed the laptop, gave her his full attention. Now I have everything to lose. She moved to him, wrapped her arms around his waist from behind. Felt him relax into her touch. The threat, she said quietly. How bad is it? His hands covered hers. Handled. Handled how? Do you really want to know? She thought about it. About what handled meant in his world. About the methods he'd used to protect her. No, she decided. I trust you. He turned in her arms, studying her face. You shouldn't. Trust is dangerous. So is love. We're doing it anyway. Something fierce flashed in his eyes. Say it again. I love you. His mouth crashed onto hers. Not gentle. Not careful. Pure possession and need. When he pulled back, his breathing was ragged. I need you to understand something. Okay. This, he gestured between them, isn't normal. Isn't healthy by conventional standards. I'm obsessed with you. Think about you constantly. Need to know you're safe every second. Can't function properly when you're not near. I know. And that doesn't scare you. Should it? She traced his jaw. You've seen the worst of me. My fears, my failures, my desperate need for stability. And you love me anyway. Why would your intensity scare me when mine matches it? He stared at her like she'd spoken a revelation. You're not afraid, he said slowly, of any of it. No. Most people would be. I'm not most people. She smiled. I'm yours, remember? His control wavered. She saw it in the way his hands tightened on her waist, the way his eyes darkened, the way his breathing changed. I don't scare people, he said quietly. I end threats. Permanently. Do you understand what that means? Yes. And you still love you? Yes. She held his gaze. I love that you're dangerous. That you're obsessive. That you'll do whatever it takes to protect what's yours. Because you feel safe. Because I feel chosen. She cupped his face. You could have anyone. Could have someone easier, safer, less complicated. But you chose me. There was no choice. His voice roughened. From the moment you walked into this house, stubborn and desperate and refusing to be afraid, there was never anyone else. He kissed her again, slower this time but deeper, pouring everything he felt into the contact. When his phone buzzed, he ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Finally, cursing under his breath, he checked it. His expression hardened. What? She asked. They found him. The one who sent the brick. He typed a response, jaw tight. I need to go. Fear spiked through her. Go where? To have a conversation. His eyes met hers. You stay here. Doors locked. Security armed. Don't open for anyone but me. How long? Few hours. Maybe less. He kissed her forehead. I'll have someone outside. You'll be safe. What about you? I'm always safe. The coldness in his voice sent shivers down her spine. It's the other guy who should be worried. She watched him check a gun she hadn't known he kept, secure it somewhere she couldn't see. This was the man people feared. The one who made threats disappear. And he was hers. Come back to me, she whispered. Always. He pulled her close one more time. I love you. Remember that. I love you too. He left, and the house felt too quiet, too empty. She spent the next 3 hours pacing, checking her phone, watching the security feeds he'd shown her how to access. When he finally walked back through the door, she ran to him. He caught her, held her tight. She felt him trembling slightly. Are you hurt? She asked, checking him over. No. He buried his face in her hair. But he won't be bothering us again. None of them will. She didn't ask what that meant. Didn't need to. It's over, she asked instead. For now. He pulled back to look at her. There will always be threats. Always be people who want to use you to get to me. That's the reality of being with someone like me. Then we'll handle them. Together. You say that now. I'll say it always. She kissed him. You're stuck with me. His arms tightened. Good. Because I'm not letting go. Ever. The possessiveness in his voice should have been too much. Instead, it felt like coming home. Chapter 17. Fear turns to devotion. The news broke 3 days later. Local businessman arrested in coordinated sting operation. She read the article over his shoulder, watching him scroll through details with that careful precision. You did this, she said. I provided information. The police did the rest. Information you gathered by methods that don't need discussion. He closed the laptop. The point is, he's gone. His whole operation is gone. And everyone associated with him knows what happens when they threaten what's mine. The casual possessiveness made her smile. What's yours? He turned, pulled her into his lap. You, this, us. People will know, she said. About us. About what you did to protect me. Let them know. His eyes held hers. I'm done hiding. Done pretending you're not the most important thing in my life. Your reputation is already terrifying. Let people know I'm worse when someone I love is threatened. His hand cupped her face. Let them know you're protected. Claimed. Mine. The fierceness in his voice sent heat flooding through her. The neighbors will talk. They already do. He smiled slightly. Difference is, now they'll understand why I'm so dangerous. Not because I'm cruel or violent, but because I'm protective. She thought about that. About how perception would shift when people understood he wasn't a monster, just someone willing to do monstrous things for the right reasons. You're not afraid of people knowing? She asked. I'm terrified. His honesty surprised her. Because it makes you more visible. Makes us a target. But I'm more afraid of hiding you. Of pretending you don't matter when you're everything. Her throat tightened with emotion. I love you, she whispered. I know. He kissed her softly. You came back when I told you to run. Stayed when I gave you every reason to leave. Chose me when choosing me meant danger. Choosing you meant love. The danger just came with it. Most people would see that as a deal breaker. Most people aren't in love with you. His control cracked. He kissed her deeply, hands tangling in her hair, pulling her closer. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. Tonight, he said, there's something I want to do. What? Claim you. Publicly. Officially. His eyes searched hers. I want people to see us together. To understand you're not just someone I'm protecting, you're someone I'm choosing. Loving. Keeping. Her heart raced. Like a date. Like a declaration. He smiled slightly. I reserved a table at the restaurant downtown. The one everyone goes to see and be seen. We'll walk in together, eat together, leave together. And tomorrow, everyone will know. Know what? That you're mine. And I'm yours. And anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me. The intensity in his voice made her shiver. You're sure? She asked. Once we do this, there's no going back to private. I've never been more sure of anything. His hands framed her face. I've spent years in the shadows. Made a career of being feared but never known. And I'm done. I want the world to know I'm yours. Tears pricked her eyes. Okay. Yeah. She kissed him. Let's show them. That night, he wore a suit that probably cost more than her first car. She wore a dress he'd had delivered. Simple, elegant, perfect. They walked into the restaurant hand in hand. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. Whispers started immediately. He didn't let go of her hand. Didn't acknowledge the stares. Just guided her to their table with that controlled grace, pulled out her chair, sat across from her like this was the most natural thing in the world. Everyone's watching, she murmured. Good. His eyes held hers. Let them see. Throughout dinner, he was attentive without being overbearing. Listened to her stories, shared his own, reached across the table to hold her hand. And people watched, whispered, took photos. By tomorrow, everyone would know. The man everyone feared was in love. When they left, he pulled her close outside the restaurant, kissed her in full view of anyone watching, claiming her, publicly, without apology. This time, he said against her lips, it's real. All of it. She smiled into the kiss. It always was. Chapter 18. He refuses to let her go. 2 months later, she woke to an empty bed. Panic spiked through her instantly. He never left without telling her, never disappeared. She found him in the living room, staring out the window at the pre-dawn darkness. Can't sleep? She asked softly. He turned, and the vulnerability in his expression stopped her heart. I keep thinking you'll wake up one day and realize what you've gotten yourself into. I know what I've gotten into. Do you? He moved toward her. Really? Because I'm still dangerous. Still feared. Still someone who does things most people couldn't live with. I know. And you're still. He stopped, jaw working. You're still here. Still choosing this. Still looking at me like I love you. She closed the distance. Because I do. Nothing's changed. Everything's changed. His hands found her waist. We're public now. Everyone knows. There's no going back to anonymous. To safe. I don't want safe. I want you. What if? His voice roughened. What if I can't keep you safe? What if something happens despite all my precautions? She understood then. The fear that woke him at 4 a.m. The reason he couldn't sleep. You can't control everything, she said gently. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Get sick. Have a million things happen that have nothing to do with your enemies. That's different. It's not. She took his face in her hands. Life is dangerous. Love is dangerous. Existing is dangerous. But I'd rather exist dangerously with you than safely without you. You say that now. I'll say it always. She held his gaze. I love you. The dangerous parts, the obsessive parts, the parts that think you need to control everything to keep me safe. All of it. I can't lose you. The words came out broken. Can't go back to being alone. Can't. She kissed him, cutting off the spiral of fear. You won't lose me, she said against his lips. I'm not going anywhere. You can't promise that. Watch me. She pulled back to meet his eyes. I promise. Through threats and danger and whatever else comes. I promise I'm yours. Always. Even when I'm impossible. Especially then. She smiled. You're stuck with me. What if you change your mind? I won't. But what if? Hey. She made him look at her. Remember when I first moved in? You gave me every opportunity to leave. Warned me. Told me I should be scared. Gave me 100 reasons to run. You didn't listen. No, I didn't. Because even then, I saw past the fear to the person underneath. And that person, she traced his jaw. That person is worth staying for. Worth choosing. Worth loving. I don't deserve. Stop. Her voice was firm. Stop telling me what you don't deserve and start believing that maybe, just maybe, I know exactly what I want. And what I want is you. He stared at her like she'd performed a miracle. I love you, he said finally, the words raw with emotion. So much it terrifies me. Good. She kissed him softly. Love should be a little terrifying. Means it matters. He pulled her close, held her like she might disappear. If you try to leave, he stuttered. I won't. But if you did, you'd probably do something dramatic and obsessive to stop me, she finished. I know. It's part of your charm. His laugh was surprised and genuine. My charm. Yes. The whole dangerous, obsessive, will move heaven and earth to protect what's mine thing. It's very attractive. You're insane. Maybe. She pulled back to smile at him. But I'm your kind of insane. Yes. His eyes softened. You are. He kissed her then, slow and deep and full of promise. Not desperate this time, but certain. Like he finally believed she wasn't going anywhere. When they broke apart, the first light of dawn was creeping through the windows. Come back to bed, she said. In a minute. He turned back to the window. Just need to check the security feeds. Lock everything down. Make sure the perimeter is secure. She knew his patterns by now. I'll wait. He glanced back, surprise and affection mingling in his expression. You understand. Of course I understand. You're protective. It's who you are. She shrugged. And honestly, it makes me feel safe, knowing you care that much. Most people would call it controlling. Most people aren't in love with you. She moved to stand beside him at the window. I am. And I love every part of you, including the parts that need to triple-check locks at dawn. He pulled her against his side, arm around her shoulders. They stood like that as the sun rose over the city, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. The house that no one had wanted. The man everyone had feared. And the woman who'd seen past both to find home. I don't need fake love anymore, he said quietly. Don't need protection through isolation. Don't need walls. He looked down at her. I need you. Just you. She smiled, leaning into him. Good thing you have me then. For how long? How long do you want me? Forever. Then forever it is. She turned in his arms, went up on her toes to kiss him. You're stuck with me. Might as well get used to it. His arms tightened around her, and for the first time since she'd met him, she saw him completely relaxed. The tension gone. The fear quieted. The walls down. Just a man holding the woman he loved. They feared him, she thought, resting her head against his chest. But he was never the danger. He was just someone who'd been alone too long. And she was someone who'd finally come home. I love you, he whispered into her hair. I know, she said. I love you too. Outside, the city woke up. People started their days. Life continued. Inside, they stood in the golden morning light, holding each other, choosing each other, loving each other. Exactly as they'd continue to do. Forever. The end.